Hello, and welcome to A Seat at the Table. Glad to see everybody filing in. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in tonight. Tonight, we are talking to caregivers and seniors, our seasoned seniors, our fabulous seniors, and their family and loved ones. And we are sharing information that will be helpful as we approach this Medicaid enrollment period and all of the things that go along with trying to make sure that you have your affairs in order to make sure you get everything squared away before the deadlines. So I am honored to be joined tonight by Kia Johnson, who is the owner or co-owner, co-founder of Leave a Legacy Financial. Leave a Legacy is also one of my clients. They have the distinct honor of being a trademark client of mine who has received their registration. And so first I want to applaud you and your sister Arbrett for that. That's really big, and I'm really proud of you all for that milestone. And Leave a Legacy is a multifaceted company that I think will really be helpful to our audience tonight. And Kia, I wanted to have you just take a moment and go through the things that you all offer, the things you all do to help our seniors and their families navigate these processes.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much, Attorney Dorna, for having us. I am excited and overjoyed to be here because, as you know, one of the things that is near and dear to our heart is our seniors. I always tell people the thing you can get me with is old people and babies, because sometimes we realize as you get older, our older people they don't know everything, or they start to forget things. So, introducing myself, I'm Kia Johnson. I am the co-founder and Chief Operations Officer for Leave a Legacy Financial. I'm also a licensed agent. I'm licensed in 44 states in the United States. And if anybody is in a state that I'm not in, I'll pop up on there and buy that license and help you. So our agency is multifaceted, as Attorney Dorna said. We offer Medicare options. We offer life insurance, including especially final expense insurance, mortgage protection. We can do infinite banking, or I don't know if that's trademark, so I'll just say the where you hear on the TikTok with all that, be your own bank. We can offer that. This is very simple. We also offer mortgage protection. And haha, we also offer youth sports insurance. So we insure a lot of little league teams, mostly football, but we can insure any event, any youth sports. So why did we get started? We got started because, and I'm just going to get it. I don't think I've told this story ever.
I'm excited to hear it. I don't think I know.
My dad was he was only one person in the United States that was on dialysis. He was on dialysis for almost 15 years. So I was in my 20s, don't know anything. He actually passed when he was 49, but he called me one day. He was like, "Hey, daughter," that's what he called me, daughter. "I'm gonna get my I gotta get a valve transplant." You're in your 20s, know nothing what that means, right. But he says, "You gotta come up here." We were in Tampa. And he lived still in Hartford, Connecticut, where we're originally from. So he's like, "Hey, Kia, come up here. I need you to sign this paperwork for me. So if something happens, you can, talk for me, whatever. So he had the wherewithal to have us, have me come up there and sign a power of attorney and a healthcare proxy. Didn't even know what any of that was. So I there, we walked down to the drugstore, and if anybody is from Hartford listening, we were on Signey Street. We walked down the street to the drugstore, and they notarized it. It was that simple. But the thing about it is, he went in the hospital and never came out. He was in ICU, and he was in the hospital for over 2 months, and then eventually he passed away. But one of the things that was important for me is that I was able to go up there and talk to the doctors and understand. Like, I didn't know much about medical, so I have all these tubes and these beeping things, and I'm asking them, "What's this? What's that? What does this mean? What are you trying to do now?" And he told me, "I'm going to have a signal. If I'm tired, I'm going to give you this signal, and I want you to tell them to stop." So I'm not the oldest. I have a brother that's older than me, but for whatever reason, he trusted me to that I was going to honor his wishes, and so that's why this bundle and why we're here tonight is so very important to me. Because for whatever reason, I've always been that person in our family that they're like, "Hey, give this to Kia, let her read it." Well, I'm a
Yeah,
nerd, so I'm gonna know why. I know why because I'm
because
a
you're going to
nerd.
get those details.
I'm a nerd. So I read and then I understand it and and I kind of can give it back to people in a normal layman's terms.
Yeah.
So, I've been the person, and our grandmother, she had a stroke and she couldn't speak. She literally could not talk. And she didn't have any paperwork. We didn't know where her papers were, what type of insurance she had, what kind of income she had. And so we're rifling through everything and find, one thing she did have was a sound mind, and
Okay.
she could sign. She can sign. So literally like sign her signature, not sign language. So I have to be careful with that. But it's been amazing in our family. So our Brett and I is my sister. She's the other co-founder. I'm sure she's in the audience and in the
Yes, I see her
comments.
saying hello.
But we just kind of thought like, hey, let's sell life insurance. Let's make sure nobody has to go through the same stuff we had to go through. With our dad and our granddad passing away, thinking he thought he left my grandmother a millionaire, and come to find out he had a bunch of accidental death policies, but he passed away from cancer, from lung cancer. And again, it was something I really didn't know. He showed me all the paperwork and I'm like, man, granddad left grandma straight. You know how we do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not
Didn't.
quite.
Once we started calling, the companies, me, of course, calling the companies, and my cousin Latrice, I don't know if she's on, but we sat in that room for hours and I couldn't, like, it took everything out of me to go tell my grandmother, like, he left you a good nest egg, but you're far from a millionaire. And they were paying these policies for years,
That's what I was
years
going to
and
say. They had probably paid almost $1 million in
years.
premiums over the years because people used to come around door to door and just sell our grandparents and great grandparents these worthless policies, whole
I
life or
call them
just something
slave
that,
policies.
yeah,
I don't
that
know if
was.
I can say that on here, but I did.
Look, this is a table. We get real here.
They're
We
slave
break it down.
policies.
Yeah, and we keep it real. We bring in the real information, and come to find out, like you said, they were really worthless. They paid more
Mhm,
than they were gonna be able to leave their family when it was all said and done.
mhm.
And the man would show up every month with his handout for the premium.
The insurance man.
Yeah.
And how about that still exists today?
Wow.
It still exists. And we're in Tampa, Florida. There's still the insurance people that come around and knock on your parents' doors and your grandparents' doors, and they still try to sell them those policies that, in $1,000 increments. I'm gonna go. I won't say company names, but there are company names that's on TV, very popular, that are very similar to that same thing.
Wow. I work from home most of the time because COVID taught me that I don't need to go sit in traffic in Atlanta to do a
Hmm.
great job. In fact, I'm more effective when I'm working here because I work like all day.
Yeah,
And so during the day, I have the television on, and it's nothing but these commercials targeting our seniors, whole
that's
life
it.
this and index life that. They don't even tell them what it is, but it's only $9.99 for, and I'm like, okay, it's obvious who they're targeting, the folks that are retired or at home during the day and
Unfortunately,
don't have any loved one there to say, no, don't call them or don't answer when they call. That's the other thing. Their phones ring all day long with
all
people
day.
soliciting them for these products. And so I'm so happy that you're here because I wanted to be able to give, I found out with this table that most people don't know a lawyer that they can say, I know her, like I can see her face and I know her name. A lot of
Yes,
people don't have that in the insurance space either. And so I wanted to give them a face that I know and trust that I, would recommend that they can count on if they don't have somebody that they feel comfortable with or if they don't have anything at all because
yeah.
way too many times, and this is not a criticism of our community, but it's me trying to make our community stronger.
Hmm.
Way too many times someone dies and what do we have? A
Go
GoFundMe
for me. Or a fish fry on the corner.
or a fish
Sorry.
fry or some t-shirts for sale. Now we're all going to die.
Always.
This is not shocking news. We have to be prepared, people. We have to get these premiums. They're not that expensive if you're in good health. If you're in poor health, you're only going to get in worse health. So the sooner the better. Your children, everybody needs these policies. Everybody needs this protection. Everybody needs these documents that I prepared in this bundle that we'll go over.
Yeah.
It's it's unavoidable. You're going to come to a point in life when you need it. And Kia, you know my story. I lost my husband, and I had taken out policies on me and him for whichever of us, needed to take care of the family. And I don't really know what I would have done without it, because I couldn't even think for 3 months, much less work.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit. And so I needed to get through like 2 years not being at my normal earning. And someone's asking if they can share this live. You should be able to. Feel free. Please share this with anybody that you think needs to see it. And if you don't share it, tag them in the comments so they'll get a notification to come in here, because I want everybody's grandma and grandpa in here to hear this kind of from the horse's mouth, because I know how it is. You're trying to go back and tell them, I was on Facebook and this lady was saying, and I don't want to trust nobody on Facebook. But if they watch it with you, or if they watch it themselves, then you don't have to try to, convince them that this is what I heard and maybe we need to talk about this. And I'm going to let you pick back up. But I also know that it's hard to have these conversations.
It
is. People don't want to talk about living wills and life insurance and power of attorney and what do you want to go to the bank for, So if we can be the conduit to the conversation starting, then that's what we're here to do. We're here to give this runway for grandma, if you're listening, or granddaughter, if you're listening, to be able to get the conversation going. Because sometimes it's the younger people that don't want to think about it. The older people.
Because it's hard to think about. Like in my situation when my father called me, or when my grandfather was showing me his shoebox. I'm a joker, so I'm cracking jokes like, man, you ain't going nowhere, old man,
right.
and being silly, but they know that I'm gonna be responsible. And when he passed, I went right up under that bed and got that shoebox, and I'm like, Granddad told me everything. So we teach our clients, and by the way, we've been like, our agency has been around since 2019. So we're not Facebook new. We're not, we may be TikTok new, but we're not Facebook new. We're not new to the industry. We are, I've been in the industry since 2011 as a licensed agent, but I've been in insurance since 2000. 2000.
Yeah.
So
that's 23 years of experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with our Brett. We just weren't on this side of it. We were in the administrative side. And so it just kind of made sense for us to parlay it. But what I wanted to say in what you were saying is, with our families, it's hard for us to talk about when somebody is not going to be here. Like when Big Mama, because I'm going to be Big Mama when I'm finally grandma. So I'm just telling y'all now.
Okay.
But
good. Because I want to just jump in and say good, because
bringing it back.
Everybody's trying to be these fancy grandma names. And I'm like, the Big Mama and Mima, where are they going? So that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Because if they call her Grandma Lily, you don't have to say my first name. You'll be able to know Big Mama is Kia. So the thing about our generation is that we have to start to think about our parents and our grandparents. The baby boomers, and the only reason I remember the years is because I'm a nerd again, and the numbers flip-flop. So from 46 to 1964, there were average of like 2 to 3 million people being born per year. And then from around about 50, maybe 54 to 64, steadily 4 million people were born every year. So now those same people are starting to turn 65, or, they're getting in that 59 to close to 65 age. Let's just be honest. Some of us didn't have the best, practices in our lives. So they might've been on some substances and maybe did some drugs or did some drinking or, whatever. And so their mental capacity may not be what we think or where they should be now at this time in their life, or this stage in their lives. And we have to recognize that and make sure that we're protecting them. You see a lot of people that are losing as you said, you lose your spouse, you're an attorney, so you know what ins and outs to go to and go through, because next of kin is not power of attorney,
It means
even
nothing. Yeah.
spouse, right?
Right. That's right. It's not. And depending on what the person who's ill wants, they can have you not in the room, not in the conversations, not going back with them in the doctor's office, and
Mhm.
they may not remember or tell you what the doctor said, so you can make sure they follow up on the medications. And
Mhm.
just it becomes a thing that you have to just be proactive about it. Um, the dates and all the situations and all the things to keep up with, all the paperwork and the phone calls, and then you got the commercials. It just becomes overwhelming, even for people that are in control of their faculties.
Right.
So just having a good, backup plan of a trusted family member. Now, let me make this caveat: we are not saying to give anybody power of attorney that you don't know and trust.
Right.
In fact, I'm saying only do this, everything we're about to say, with someone you know and trust.
Yeah.
Yes, there are rules. Yes, they're under a fiduciary duty to do right by you, but you know your family and your friends better than we do. So if it's not your family, if it's a neighbor or a friend, that's perfectly fine. And this is your opportunity to control that.
Right.
So I want to give that caveat. When we're saying friends and family, you're deciding who that person is for you. You know your life, your people that are around you.
Right.
But it's just important to always have a second set of ears. It's easy to become annoyed with the process, even with the Medicaid enrollment process. As you all know, I represent Julius Irving, and he turned 62 during the time that I was representing him. And since then, every year I'm having to sit on the phone, to do his enrollment. And every now and then he has to come to the phone and say, yes, you can talk to her.
Every time they transfer the call.
Yeah, and it's annoying. So eventually I just said, look, give me power of attorney. I'm already your attorney. I'm already in a fiduciary. Obviously you can trust me. And then it became so much easier for
Yeah.
him. I had the same hurdles to jump through on the phone, but it became easier for him to just let me know when you're finished, and for him to just give me his Medicaid card, and I can sit there and take care of it for him.
Yeah.
Um,
And you
so
also look at in the sense of like I said with my grandmother, um, she didn't seem like anything was wrong with her. The stroke was like boom, you know what I mean? And so even if you're not ill, we're getting older, or you may have a child that's going to turn 18 that may be incapacitated or not able to make their own decisions, or this, and most people don't realize, like, you need to get the proper paperwork, because when you call these companies, they have a protocol. The personal health information, if they release that to you and you don't have the proper paperwork, the government will fine these companies to a point where it could put them out of business. So it's
correct.
not like you could be the daughter, you could be the mama, you could be whatever you are. It doesn't matter to them. And I would give you another example. We had a client where the father actually was in ICU again, but during COVID, he was on the ventilator and couldn't speak. And I had to call the company and like try to maneuver and help them through. I wasn't even the agent of record for the client, but for her dad, I should say. I was hers, but not for her dad. And it took forever to finally get somebody that could say we could do it in the best interest of. And it literally went all the way up to 4 levels of management.
Right.
And I had to like I had to like give my national producer number and all this stuff. But the man was on a ventilator, and he eventually didn't make it. But that is why this was so important. Like when we saw that you were going to make this bundle, I know you saw me and our Brad in the comments like, oh my gosh, because
This
one
is
of
so needed.
the
Yeah.
also that we offer is we have a nonprofit called Legacy Cares, and part of that nonprofit is we help our seniors fill out paperwork for Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security, and we also do living wills. And so this was something like we were like, this is right up our alley. We can refer our clients to make sure that the documents match their state. They're not going on, these little lawyer sites that they're, fake. You don't even know if they're real, and you're logging in and you're using this, that any judge could throw it out if
right.
somebody challenges it. So that's why this has been like super important to us, because not only do we enroll people, when Medicare comes around, which is coming around, next month, starting on the 15th, people can enroll through December 7th. So we do that too, but we also want to educate our community and help our community, because we can see when people live alone and they have a wheelchair, and I have a neighbor who, she's very proud, but I'm just going to say it, she literally walks, she doesn't walk upright, she walks almost bent, almost all the way in half, and
Wow.
she's very proud, but she still walks. But eventually she's going to need a wheelchair ramp, she's going to need a wheelchair. And we're very good friends with her, and I'll say associates, because neighbors, they only tell you but so much. But we see her, and she lives alone.
Yeah.
So we look for her to make sure she came out the house, that we see her. And that's what we should do as a community, and not just look at older people as annoying.
No.
Sometimes they can be. Now they say some crazy stuff to us.
Looking younger people.
Yes. And we just need to understand that, they need attention. And, we had somebody that was on Facebook and talked about going to the doctor and having, watching an older man fill out all this paperwork, and she was confused and had to help him. And she's like, what happened to our community where we're helping each other? I don't know what happened to it, but we're trying to keep it going.
We're trying to bring it back and make it easy.
Yes. Yep.
No pun intended, but the site I created, Easy Legal Documents, that's the whole purpose. I'm trying to make these things easy, not as intimidating, not, you don't want to go on Google, because you might be looking at something that's not even for your state. You might even be looking at something that's not even for the United States of America if you Google it, to be quite honest with you, especially if you don't give them your location. You don't want to go to legal doom, is what real lawyers call legal doom, because you're not sure if it's really a lawyer. Most of those are going to be legal assistants. And once they get in the $99 or whatever they're charging you, they actually withdraw from whatever the work was. They only do 1% of the work, and then they leave you hanging, and you don't have a number and a person to call. You find me, you can find Kia, you can find Arbret, you can follow up if you need help. So that is why this is helpful. Kia, what I want to do then, because you've kind of explained really well why I'm doing this, is tell them what it is, and then we'll start talking about the Medicare process that's coming up next month, so that people can kind of have some dates in mind to get themselves kind of in order. Let's see. That's the website. So on that website, you will find where I have created, and it's good for any of the 50 states, the last page of the document, I have each state and what the requirements are for the witnesses and the notary, so you can make it fit your state, right? You'll have on there a living will, which is also called a healthcare directive in some instances. It's what Kia was just talking about, that her dad had her to run up to the ICU to do, and she's frantic and what is going on, and he's got the mindset and the right, wherewithal to say, I need to handle this and I need to have you do it. But what if it had been done before it was a stressful situation? That would have been preferable. What a living will is it literally says, if I become incapacitated, and you have to sign any and all of these documents when you're of sound mind and body. So you can't really wait until you start going down. It's too late for you to sign it. You can't really wait till you start forgetting things and losing things and getting in the car and driving to the grocery store, end up in another state. It's too late at that point. No notary will notarize these documents for you. You have to take care of this type of thing while you're well and of sound mind and body. So the living will is you're saying, if I become incapacitated, here's what I want to have happen. I want to be on life support. I don't want to be on life support. I want to be have the nutrition through a tube. I don't want a tube. I want, medicine that will make me not be in pain. I don't want this. You get to state what you want to have happen if you are terminal and you can't make these choices for yourself. One of two things is going to happen if you don't have this document. They're going to poke something in your family's face at the hospital, or they're not going to do anything because nobody's there, or they can't get past the barriers to your incapacity. And then the doctor's going to be making decisions for you, or the medical team. And nobody really wants that, as much as we may trust our physician that is attending to us or not. Our last show, we talked about, I had my doctor friend on, and we talked about some of the mistrust that we have with some of our medical providers. But some are excellent and we trust them, but we don't want them deciding if their plug is going to get pulled. So you can determine that by filling out this document, and the first document in the bundle, and tell your family, here's what I want. Put it in a shoebox, put it in a safe, put it in a safe deposit box. Wherever you put it, you'll have it. The second document, which you also touched on, Kia, is it's a HIPAA form. They will not release any of your protected medical health information to anybody but you, unless they have this form. They're not being mean to your family. They're not trying to, accuse somebody of not really being your child. None of that. They don't care how much you scream, how loud you get. And if you come down there, they will not do it because their license is on the line. But if you come down there with this form, what do you want to see? It's all opened up. The other two, so there's 5 documents in this bundle. The next 2 is going to be a healthcare power of attorney, which you also talked about. That's what you came down and signed for your dad, to give you permission to talk to the doctors and share information with you about what's going on. So they're not asking you to leave the room when they get ready to talk to the patient about the situation. So you can be the person to go back into the doctor's office, even if it's not a life-threatening situation. But if you need to go back with grandma, you want them to have that so they feel comfortable telling you everything. And then if you need to go back and get records because they lost them or don't know where they are, you can easily call and just have them send you medical records as well as bills, so you can make sure that everything is getting taken care of with the insurance and the Medicaid and Medicare, whatever they've got going on. This also is really good when people are in nursing homes because it's constant paperwork.
Yes.
The other one is a financial power of attorney, which I just poked in there because oftentimes when these things are going on, they need to still have their bills taken care of and they can't physically get up and go do it. So this financial power of attorney gives you broad powers. You can go through and scratch out anything you don't want to give powers to. I made it completely broad, and you can make it smaller, from mortgages, stocks, bonds, banking, signing your taxes, anything financial that needs to be taken care of. You can give a family member or friend permission to do that for you. And the last document, which we'll start talking about this process now, is the Medicare authorization for you to be able to call for them, or at least with them if they want to hear it, to be able to do their enrollment or make changes or anything related to their enrollment. So those 5 documents: a living will, a power of attorney for healthcare and for financial, a HIPAA release, and the Medicare document. Those are going to give a loved one everything they need to be able to help you with anything financial or medical that may come up. You can choose different people for each one. You can choose the same person for each one. You can, and I see a question, and we're going to go through the questions, but if you're 18 and older, you can sign these. So if you're 18, and I do have a bundle specifically for young people that are off away at school called the Young Adult Bundle. It's also available at easylegaldocuments.com. But it has some forms that relate to college to allow them to release your financial aid, to allow them to release your grades to the parent. Like I said, I can pay my daughter's tuition all day, but they're not going to give me her grades unless I send them that form because of privacy rules. But if you have a young adult who may have medical issues, and you have these things where you're having to, facilitate for them once they turned 18, yes, when they were baby, but 15, 16, 17, your mom, hey, mom, here are the decisions you need to make. But the minute they turn 18, they don't care what you say. The child gets to make those decisions unless you have these forms in place. So this is vitally important for parents or caregivers of anyone 18 and older. It really is, so that you can just help them. If they can talk and you all can communicate, then cool. You still can give, or if they can write, communicate in whatever way they communicate, you can still give directions on what you want to have happen to you, but it's for when you can't, right, that this is important. And that's what your father, foresaw. But, if we can jump out ahead of this again, because diminished capacity can come on quickly and it's just too late. It's just too late. Now, I know somebody's saying, okay, what about a will, or what is a living will versus a will? The easiest way I can explain it is a living will is just what it sounds like, a will for when you're living. When you're breathing, living, your heart's beating, your brain is functioning, this is something you can sign and say, here's what I want to have happen up until the point of my death. At the point that you die, then a will takes over, or a trust, ideally, will take over if you have one. And if you don't have one, I have 3 or 4 shows on that topic. So that's kind of my spiel. Those are available at easylegaldocuments.com. I have a website where I also go through and just restate everything I just said about what each one of these is, answer some questions about, hey, mama, my mama's on here. We always acknowledge mama. It explains what each one of these is. It tells you places you can go find a notary. It answers the questions about, sound, mind, and body. It just kind of has a little FAQ to answer any questions, because I know I talk fast. And then it has, you can just click through, and I have it priced at $119. Being really honest with you guys,
that's amazing.
If you get a living will from a lawyer, you're looking at $400 or $500 for one document.
What? Did we look like we practiced that? We did not practice that.
We did not. But we know. Look,
just one. Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to do anything but get this information and these documents in people's hands. So I priced it at $119, really for my cost to do it. And you'll see the blanks. You'll go in and fill out the blanks with what you want. You can scratch it. All the instructions are there. Everything is there. And then the state by state thing. So I have them designed for the most stringent states. Georgia is one of the more stringent states. We need a notary and 2 witnesses for most everything. Ooh. Some states only need 1 witness. So if your state is on there and it needs 1 witness, you can leave the other one blank. I saw a question about across state lines. I'm going to just glance at that, and then we'll jump back and start talking about enrollment, if you're okay with that.
Yes.
And then we'll take some other questions.
It's your show.
Okay. This is a statement, actually, not a question. This will also help for someone who is coming from a different state to care for the patient, whether financial health, et cetera, correct? Yes, it will. These, when someone buys these, they're going to fill them out according to the state they're in. So it will be valid where they are, no matter if you're from Kalamazoo. It's going to be valid where they are. Now, if you move, if you're one of my really spry seniors and you're just picking up and moving cross country, then you still have the documents. Once you buy the document, you're going to get an email with it. It's blanked out. You're going to fill it out. If you need to do it over because you moved, do it over. I don't care how many times you use it. Just use it. So you can adapt it for your new state if you should happen to move. Okay, so you shared something earlier today that I was like, this is the kind of information we need. You shared something about some changes that are coming up with enrollment. And I wanted you to maybe hit that, and then we'll start talking about enrollment in a broader sense.
So one of the major things that's coming up in 2024. So if you all don't know, when the Medicare season happens.
And what are those dates again?
It's October 15th through December 7th for a January 1st effective date, meaning you can make the change during that time frame, but your plan won't go into effect until January 1st. But all the companies and Medicare, they call it Medicare, but there's an oversight company or oversight federal government, which is CMS. So they kind of determine what's going to change for the new year. So people who are in a certain levels of the federal poverty level, they're eligible to get extra help for their drug coverage with Medicare. And Medicare is changing those parameters where you have more people who are going to qualify for it because they're changing the levels. And it's amazing. It is amazing because say you're in New York, and we all know New York has a higher cost of living versus, say, Florida. So people in Florida may or may not meet the qualifications if, like for Medicaid, because the level of poverty you have to meet may be a little lower than New York. But where the federal government is coming in, they're saying, we're not going to worry about the state level. We're going to go with the federal poverty level, which has always been like that, but now they're increasing it. They're increasing the amount that you can have as your income as a single person. They're increasing the amount that people can have as a married couple, where you don't have to be like below the poverty level or just barely scraping by like good times to meet the requirements, right?
Right.
You're up there, and but you still qualify because you need that extra help. So it's called low income subsidy, and that's something we also help our clients apply for, because one of the things as an insurance agent, we put the word financial in our name because we ask for all of your information. We're asking for your social, your date of birth, your income, where what assets you have, because we're going to be your advocate. So, Medicare makes us say we're licensed agent, and I'm proud to say I'm a licensed agent, but I'm also an advocate. So I'm going to make sure that if I'm going to ask you all these questions, our agents are going to ask you all these questions, because if you give us a call, when people give us a call, we don't just want to talk about your Medicare plan. We want to talk about your world and your life, and what are you experiencing. There's plans, there's Medicare Advantage plans that help with pest control. Why would a Medicare Advantage plan help someone with pest control? Because when termites or roaches eat your home, it brings dust. Dust gets in your lungs and it causes you health issues. Most people don't know that exists. If What I talked about, the neighbor, you have plans that will help pay for the ramp for her to be able to come up come up the steps with her wheelchair. Think about if somebody had a car accident and now they're in a wheelchair. How are you going to have assistance helping them to convert their home to be able to easily come up and get into the home and move around? Most of our homes are not even, like, you're not even thinking about if it has a need for a wheelchair to come in there. So we
Listen, my parents built our house when I was 16, and I guess they were late 30s, right?
Mhm.
And they got sunken living rooms and they got rooms sunk into the sunken
Beautiful.
rooms. But
But
now they're in
what's
their
going to
70s.
happen,
Yeah.
right?
And they're like, we were not thinking. It's beautiful, but it's not convenient as we age. So you're so right.
In the walkers, and the bathroom, and things that you need to convert, the medical beds, things like that. We're going to ask all those questions, so when I say we're not Facebook, and we're not Facebook agents, we're not a Facebook agency, we're not, because we have to make sure that we're meeting people where they are. We can start all the way down to a person who, I'm not going to say her name, but I went to her home and she lived in one room and she kept apologizing. And I'm like, don't apologize. I'll go to your house. I'll talk to you on the phone. If you're in Florida, Tampa, I'll go to your house. I'm not going to Georgia now. But I will. I'm licensed there, but I'll talk to you on the phone. But she kept apologizing. I said, no. And I just asked her, I said, what about this? And I'm just looking around the room. And I'm like, what about that? What about this? I found her a plan where they're going to come in her home and they're going to clean her home, like her room. It was cluttered. Like, and if anybody knows me, I have a little bit of OCD and a little bit of germaphobe. And y'all would be so proud of me. I sat there, but I have a little bit of a poker face, and I sat there and I helped her because I was more concerned about helping her than I was about her environment. But
Right.
I noticed it and I said, you know what, we're gonna, you have this, that, and the other. And she was so happy. And that's what we do. We're here to help. We want to compare the plans that a person currently has versus what they could have. And guess what we're not going to do? If you have a plan that fits your needs and makes sense to you, we love you. Have a wonderful day. We'll invite you to a meal when we have a next conference or we have the next event, because we have events too that we host. So we don't want to hurt people. And that's one of the things. If you go to our website is lalfinancial.com. That's one of our things that we even say on our website. Like, we know our community is underserved. our community is overserved in some instances in the wrong way. And we're here to make sure that people understand. And we consistently, thank you so much, we consistently meet people that are, they'll say, well, I don't know why they gave me this. Well, why do you have, I don't know. Or we ask them, do you have life insurance? Do you have, burial insurance? And I hate to say, most of the people we talk to, they don't have anything. And then it's like, well, I'll call you later. And like, okay, you're not hurting my feelings. I promise I'm gonna be fine without it. But what about your grandchildren? What about your mom? What about the people who then have to figure it out later?
Right. They're going to have a GoFundMe and a fish fry.
Oh, I hate it. I hate to see the people on the corner. But I give, but I just...
I do too, but I hate it because it's so preventable. It really is. And you don't want to leave your family in a situation where they're having to ask. Most of us are proud and we don't want to ask. And if you can make sure that doesn't happen, then this is the way to do it. And I'll put in a little note about the burial policy, because sometimes people forget about that. They'll have a life insurance policy, but that's all they have, which that's wonderful, right? But when you go to the funeral home and they want $20,000 by Wednesday and it's Tuesday, if you don't have that on a credit card or a checkbook somewhere, you're going to have to sign over that whole life insurance policy to these people at the funeral home and have them give you a check back. Yeah. But if you have a separate burial policy, you can keep your business to yourself and your life insurance situation to yourself, and you can give them that burial policy, which is, a lower amount, 15, 20,000, something that it takes to bury somebody. And they don't have to be involved in your big policy. A lot of times, I hate to say this, but sometimes people have to make decisions about the type of service they can have to honor their loved one because of what they have left in the bank at the moment. Yeah. Because they don't have a burial policy. And they don't cost that much to get, people. It really is affordable, and it's invaluable when something happens. So I'm glad you mentioned burial policies. So what I'm saying is you should have a life insurance policy and a separate burial policy. You also should have that on your children, because God forbid, things are happening. People are leaving here earlier and earlier and earlier. Yeah. Young people are leaving here and we're not prepared. And we want to honor them in the highest fashion if that's something that, life presents us with. It doesn't cost much. And I'm not talking about the Gerber thing where they send it to you when they're, in the womb. And it's, I'm not really talking about that. Kia and Albert will guide you to what's best for the policy. But I'm talking about if you get something while they're little, it's not going to cost you anything. It really will just be pennies.
And $20 a month. Yeah. It's just Starbucks money. It's less than Starbucks money. And the thing
it's
a
great thing for a grandparent to give a grandchild.
That's what I was going to say, the grandparents. A lot of our customers and clients, I call them clients because I don't like to say customers, but a lot of our clients, they purchase for their grandchildren, and then it builds over time, and it does build cash value, and it has money if they decide as they get older that they want to borrow against it. That's really when people talk about that becoming your own bank. That's really all they're talking about, is borrowing the cash value of their policy against the quote unquote death benefit. Is very simple. But for people who are not wealthy, that's not an option. Or if you're not financially stable, becoming your own bank is really not an option. So you'll hear people, I want to be my own bank. I want to be my own bank. Baby, listen, get you some CDs and get you some bonds and get you some stuff to build up that money. And then you can take that money and the profit you make off of that. I don't know if you can call it profit, but the money you make off of that,
the dividends or the value,
you can then get an insurance policy and do that. But we can, like I said, we can do all of it. We offer Medicare supplement. So for people, again, if you have the means, meaning the money to pay for Medicare supplement works with Original Medicare, and it pays some or all of your out-of-pocket expenses for Medicare. So Medicare is an 80-20. So anybody that had insurance kind of like back in the day, all the plans were 80% or 20%. So the company pays 20 after deductible. I always say insurance is not sexy, but it's necessary. So you'll hear me say things in a quick way, but basically you can buy a private insurance policy that covers what original Medicare doesn't cover. Then you can buy another or enroll in another policy to cover your drug coverage. The issue is that most people, in the inner city, they're not financially stable enough to be able to afford a Medicare supplement. So a lot of times they'll call and they're like, hey, I heard about this thing, I need plan F or I need plan C. No, you don't need that. And so we're expert enough, and that's why we have to ask so many questions. And I say to our Brett all the time, I'm like, you have a lot of people doing fraud and scamming and things like that. I'm like, the worst thing you could do as an insurance agent is even worry about that kind of stuff. Like we don't even think about it. I ask a person their date of birth and social security like that. What am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? This is my livelihood.
Right. Nobody has time to go to jail over, scamming somebody for whatever. I don't even know what you use people's credit card, social security numbers for, to be honest.
Don't worry about it. I just use it to verify your benefits and what you have your eligibility for, because your date of birth for Medicare matters because of the different plans that are available to you. And then, we need to verify that you are who you say you are, or the person to the bundle, if you have a power of attorney, that your power of attorney can attest to who you are and give us all the right information that matches Medicare system. That's really all we need it for, but we're required to verify it and
make because sure. Nobody wants their claims returned because things didn't match up either, or denied, not even returned. You'll be standing at the doctor's office desk, not able to go back and get your colonoscopy or whatever you're there for. Correct. Because things aren't lining up. So you have to see proof of that social security number. I'm sure you don't want them to just tell you, but you want the card probably. You want the ID so that you can make sure it lines up. We have a question. Can you explain the difference between Medicare Part A, B, C?
Can I do what? You broke up a little bit.
I'm sorry. Can you explain the difference between Medicare Part A, B, and C?
Medicare A is your hospital coverage and anything that you get done to you if you're in the hospital. And I say done to you like your drugs, your IV, things like that. Your Part B is your doctor office visits and any vaccinations or anything you get done, blood draw, labs, anything you get done in the doctor's office. Part C, like CAT, is Medicare Advantage. So Medicare Advantage is run by private insurance companies, your Humanas, your Aetnas, your United Healthcares. They have to cover everything that Part A and B from original Medicare covers. And then they can offer additional benefits like the transportation, the grocery cards. When you hear J.J. Evans say, get money back in your Social Security check, that's your Part C. Dynamite, right? And Joe Namath, things like that. So Part C is Medicare Advantage. Part D, like David, is your drug coverage. It could be covered in your Medicare Advantage, quote unquote, Part C plan, or it could be standalone. So that's the difference between those letters.
And what age are you eligible to start claiming these things?
You are eligible for Medicare when you turn 65, or if you have been deemed disabled for 25 months. So 24 months of disability. And then on that 25th month, you get Medicare, or if you have end-stage renal disease or ALS, and you get it immediately.
Okay. So someone calls your office or they go on your website, it's going to guide them how to get an appointment with you, or how does it work?
Yes, they can schedule an appointment with us, or they can give us a call directly. We have a national call center. So as I said earlier, we're contracted and certified in 44 states. We offer about 10, depending on the state, we offer 10 to 12 different carriers. And the carriers are the insurance companies. And then from there are hundreds of plans. So we have a system where we can log in, we put your zip code in, we put your information in, you tell us what's important to you. And we look at the plans that come back to us. If you have Medicaid, we put that information in as well. So we can pull up plans that are in your area down to your zip code and tell you, what benefits are offered in your area. And then we can enroll you right there over the phone. If you're in the Tampa, Florida or Hillsborough County area, we also have agents that can come to your home. It's not always me. We do have a staff of agents, and they can come to your home, meet with you. We also offer events in the local area. We do events once a month. They're Medicare 101 events where we explain what those events are. We also have an office here in Tampa. So if somebody wants to come inside and sit down with us and go over their options, we do that too. That's by appointment only, because for the most part, after COVID, everybody kind of wants to work at home and not commute. So that is by appointment only, but we are here local in Tampa with an office. But so we invite anyone to give us a call.
What's the phone number?
Our phone number is 888-682-1325. 888-682-1325. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday Eastern Time. Okay. So give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. When you go on our website, just understand that we're local, but we're national as well. And we can help anybody. We can help anybody understand their benefits. We can review your benefits with you, as I said earlier. And if it's not a good fit for you to make a change, we can tell you to not make a change. Medicare plans change or could change every calendar year. So even if someone loves the plan they're on, they love the company they're with, they love the doctor takes the plan, that can change. The copays, all that stuff can change. And a lot of times we just want to review those benefits and make sure. So with Attorney Dorna's bundle, you also can make sure that you're able to speak on behalf of your mom or your dad who may not understand these things. Or, make sure that as you're going forward, you can make sure that you can talk to the company about the claims and, why is something not paid the way it's supposed to be paid, or, what kind of benefit they have for dental. Because one of the things I've learned in this business and this industry is take care of your teeth. That's the main thing that people are looking for, is, take care of your teeth. Just do the best you can. But if you didn't, or if you want to continue to do so, the Medicare Part C, Medicare Advantage covers a lot of that. Dentures, like every 3 to 5 years, depending on the plan. It's a lot of opportunity out there. And we just want to make sure that, our community knows. And, the grocery cards are wonderful, and the old over-the-counter cards are wonderful to get your Band-Aids and all that. But you have to make decisions based on more than just that. And, you can get plans that give you money back in your Social Security. That's huge for a person who's only making $800 or $900 a month. Can you imagine living off of that?
No.
People do. So when
people who work all their life, and that's what they're working with,
$800. Yeah. And when we know that, we're going to do whatever we can to give you some of that money back, or as much, benefits as we can.
And I love the fact that you're not just saying, I'm just going to put you in whatever pops up in my computer. I love that you're like, what's important to you?
Yes.
I can get somebody, you're going to let them know about things they hadn't thought about, like having somebody come and help declutter, or getting that ramp, or getting, whatever the situation that presents itself. Because when you've been doing this 22 years, I think you just said, you just know things that the TikTok agents don't know. Like me, I've been doing this 25 years. I forgot more stuff than the lawyers that are walking around on Instagram to rap songs.
Yep.
Just putting words on the screen. Yeah. You just know.
Pointing.
Yeah.
No offense, because I won't get on TikTok, but one of the other things I wanted to say is there is a website. It's called auntbertha.com. So AUNT, like your aunt, Bertha.com. And if you guys have a family member or neighbor if their lights are cut off, or if they need help with a ramp. Yeah, thank you. If they need help with a ramp, or they need assistance with their food, or shelter, anything, that website will help guide them. I use that. We use that an awful lot. And I say an awful lot because I hate that we have to use it so much, but I'm glad that it's there. So that is a tool for anybody to use if you know anybody who needs assistance that are elderly. I was going to tell you, Attorney Dorna, you may want to look into seeing if you could get that bundle added there. You don't necessarily have to be a nonprofit. You can also be an attorney. You can be someone in the community that's just helping others. And this is something I believe belongs there. Absolutely belong there.
That is valuable. I had never heard of that. I would never have known that if you hadn't mentioned that. I don't know if anybody else in the audience has ever heard of that, but that is a wonderful resource. This is the kind of stuff you get when you're dealing with seasoned professionals who just know what's out there and what the options are. So I want to see if we have any questions. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes, if you'll indulge me, and we'll see if we have any other questions. Yes, they haven't been writing a lot because they've been listening. So,
it's a good thing.
All right. Yeah, the first question that I see here is, could these same documents be used with mentally challenged adults? Would there be a question about their soundness of mind? Yes, and yes. If they are diminished to the point that they cannot understand what they're signing, the notary is going to ask them typically basic questions to make sure they understand. Then, I'm also a notary. You're probably a notary, Kia. Notaries don't investigate and we don't dig in, but if the person just seems completely clueless about what is going on, who you are that is there with them, where to sign, how to sign, if there are clues that we know to look for if someone's just completely not of sound mind. But if they're mentally challenged, but able to comprehend what are you signing and answer that. Who is this? This is my mother. What is your name? Where do you live? Basic things like that. Then that's enough to meet the standard. They don't have to be brilliant or able to do math problems, but they just have to be able to comprehend the importance and the brevity of what they're doing in that moment. And so you'll be okay there. This will also help for some. Oh, I already covered that. You already answered this question. They've been good and quiet and paying attention. Thank you for sharing this valuable information. Someone said this was wonderful information. Monica said this is her first time hearing this. I think that's probably about Aunt Bertha, because I know I've never heard of that. And I everybody get that off the website and check that out. And then somebody asked the same question, and then people are speaking to my mom. If you guys do have any other questions, poke them in the comments. I'm looking. But I just want to circle back. You can call Leave a Legacy Financial at 888-682-1325. Kia and her sister Arbrette are amazing. I vouch for them. I have no reservation in telling you can trust them, or I wouldn't even have them here.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So I don't even have to say that. They will get you whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish accomplished. And like she said, if what you have going on already is the best thing for you, they'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And wish you well, and move on. So reach out to them or hop on the website, lalfinancial.com, and look around. I'm the kind of person, I go on websites and get familiar with my options. So when I call, I know what I'm asking. So I'm not just like, tell me everything. So, maybe do that and then call. And if you're local to Tampa, you can go into their office, make an appointment, and visit with them, and just get everything you need taken care of. The Easy Legal Documents website, which somebody just said it's not working for them. Let me check and see if something has happened, because that's just how the world works. Yeah, I've got it up here on my screen. It's there, easylegaldocuments.com. It's when you pull it up now, it's going to show you that elder care bundle. It's going to go over for you what the 5 documents are. And if anybody else is having trouble with it, let me know so I can jump off of here and get on the phone with somebody and get it for you guys. It's going to tell you again what they are, because we've given you a lot of information. And it's going to have a buy now button. It's going to reiterate the thing about the notary, and the kind of questions people have. And even if you don't know how to get a notary, or you can't leave home and you need to stay, in a wheelchair at home or something, then I even have a website on there. It's going to cost more, but notarize.com, I don't have any affiliation with them. I just sought out a resource for our people who can't just get up and go. You can log on your computer, show them your ID, they'll ask you the same questions, and then they'll notarize the document electronically, and that's perfectly valid in all 50 states as well. So the person granting the rights will be the one signing these documents, not the person receiving the rights, the power of attorney. And the witnesses can't be a part of your family, direct, immediate family, and they can't stand to inherit from you. So you'll need to, get some neighbors or whatever, whoever what I try to do with documents, though, is I try to have the witness lines on pages kind of with nothing else. So they don't even really know any of your business, because I know that's a thing. So it's not going to show them, what all the document says. It's going to be your signature and then their signatures and the notary on one page. So they won't be all up in your business. You can just say, I need you to come over and witness me signing some paperwork for my grandbaby. And 9 times out of 10, if you do tell them what it is, they're going to say, I need to do that too. There's nothing embarrassing about these documents. I'm, just making sure I have my affairs in order, because we all got to go, or we're all going to pass at some point, and we want to have our ducks in a row. Like we said, this is hopefully a conduit to you all having this conversation with your loved ones. Let us speak for you if you can't find the words to talk about this. Show people this video. I leave it up. I always leave them up. They'll always be there unless Facebook goes away. So you can watch it at any time. You can share it from the Seat at the Table group. You can share it from my page. Kia, if you want to share it on you guys' page, feel free. Whatever we need to do to get this information out to people, to have resources to get this done. When you, one more thing I'll reiterate, when you go on Easy Legal Documents, you put in your information, you're going to receive an email with the document immediately. That's it. You print it out and you get to signing whenever you get everybody assembled. Do not ever sign any of these documents before you're in front of the notary, or it's not valid. So you have to wait until the notary is present with you and the witnesses are present with you. So you'll need, to assemble everybody, whether you all go to the bank or you go to the post office or you go wherever you go. You'll need to not sign anything until you have them able to watch you sign, because that's the point. The witnesses and the notary are there to say, I saw her ID and I know this was Dorna, and she was not going nuts, and she was not drunk, and she was not high. She was of her right. Do I need to point out that you can't be drunk or high when you're signing these documents as well?
You already did. That's good enough.
Sound mind. That's part of sound mind. And she, see, my ring light is like, don't say that. So the witnesses and the notary, if a problem should arise, then they are people that can vouch for the fact that you were physically there and you were in your right mind and you did intend to sign these documents. That's why that's there. It's not for them to see. It's for your loved ones. It's not to have problems down the road if somebody tries to invalidate these documents. One last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll let you all go. You can invalidate yourself. You can cancel any of these documents at any time. So if you do choose nephew Tommy and he turns out to be drunk all the time, you can void that and do a new one, right? So you don't need to spend months agonizing over who. You just need to keep an eye on the person you chose. And if you feel a little uncomfortable, you can invalidate that one and replace it. So I just wanted to poke that in there, because I know, no Uncle Nears before you sign, Colleen. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. After is fine. So that is, I think, information for one night. We've given them so much information, and I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna put you guys' number back on the screen, just so people can make sure they have it. And Sandra says, this is good. Common sense is not always common. Listen, if I don't know anything, I know that after 25 years of fixing people's problems. Ooh, how did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here, but I got you. I got you. So, like I said, show this to your loved ones, share it, just put it in their inbox, shoot it to them on Messenger. By the time they figure out what we're talking about, maybe they've gotten comfortable with the conversation. This will give you an in to, to go down that road. I've got to have the same conversation with my loved ones, and it's vital. It's vital.
Not sexy, but it's necessary.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. And once you have your stuff in order and your business in order, there's a relief. You feel proud of yourself. You feel empowered. You feel like almost like Diane Carroll. Like, I've got my affairs in order and my family won't be having a fish fry. You just feel
Exactly.
elegant. Like you did something to leave a legacy. See how I did that?
Exactly.
You see what I did
Yeah, I
there?
see that parlay.
Yeah. So let's leave a legacy. Let's not leave a GoFundMe. Let's not leave a fish fry. Let's leave a legacy for our loved ones. We all look, y'all work too hard to throw it away over just not feeling comfortable doing this. So I appreciate you so much, Kia, for coming on here. I just asked her yesterday, y'all, and she and Albert said yes faster than I could ask. We have a
Absolutely.
passion for getting this information out and helping families. And
Yes.
it's we talked about it when we were planning this, what time and what day. It feels good, to help people.
Yes.
You'll know people that are out to get you because they're just here today and gone tomorrow. But she's been around since 2001. I think she said I've been around since 98. We wouldn't still be around if we weren't providing quality service. So
Nope.
That's all I have to say about that. I don't see any more questions. I just see a whole lot of thank yous. Appreciate you all so much. This is perfect timing. This is awesome. Thank you all. This is good. It's not sexy, but it's necessary. And on the last comment I'll leave on is leave a legacy.
Leave a legacy.
Well, I'll let Aubrette have the last word. She said, this has been an awesome discussion. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for doing this. If I can assist as you all are working through these things with anybody from the table, let her know you guys are from the table also.
Please, yes, please do that.
Kia's at the table. She's a table mate. She's in here all the time. So let her know that you're a table cousin. And, if I can assist in any way as we go through this, then I'm happy to do that too.
Absolutely. Be blessed, y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you, Attorney Dorna. We really do appreciate you allowing us to come on your platform. You didn't have to, but it filled my heart and our bread. It filled our hearts to know that you do trust us to put us on your platform. So I just want to say thank you to that. And if anybody, give us a call. Let us help you and your family members so we can take care of you. Y'all be blessed.
All right, everybody have a great night.